Welcome to another episode of Not for the Weak-Minded. Just gonna whip through this article, shall we? Hacking the brain, the future computer chips in your head. Right. Over the past 20 years, neuroscientists have been quietly building a revolutionary technology called BrainGate that wirelessly connects the human mind to computers and has just hit the world stage. Well, let's stop. First of all, BrainGate was not initially wireless, was it? As we've just said in the last article. But because of all the wires and all the things sticking out the head and the surgery, they've had to go wireless. And since that point, they've been working on wireless technologies, right, to control the human mind with computers. Do you get that? Supercomputer, maybe? Maybe the black cube, which is a consciousness machine, which is actually partly, in my opinion, the things which can alter reality. But it is connected to what we are connected to for our pineal gland. But they've also built a supercomputer, artificial intelligence, which is part of a hive mind network. And the trillion sensor vision to spread all these chips across the earth and have sensors on pretty much everything. The air you breathe, literally you're breathing in sensors every day. So anyway, let's get into the article, because Mark Zuckerberg is a small turd. So it just hit the world stage. It's been slowly creeping up to this. And these billionaires, such as Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, have entered the race with goals of figuring out how to get computer chips into everyone's brain. Right, stop. Do you see what that just said, Forbes? They literally want to work out how to put chips in your brain. They already have, and these people are deceiving you every day. Every day. Elon Musk particularly is deceiving you every day, because the things he says is so close to truth, but it is not truth when it is based on a false principle, which is why you need to go back and see that everything is a lie that they built over 300 years ago, to create this civilization today based on those lies, and now how today they're using the truth to literally try and hive mind humanity, to kill us all. You have no idea the lengths that these people have gone to. I mean, 9/11 is nothing in comparison to the things they have done. The things they're still doing. It's unbelievable. So these bastards, millionaires, who everyone thinks are going to save the world, will save the world with technologies. It's just that it's a great trap technologically, and this involves giving you free energy. This involves space net, but that has to do with the trillion sensor vision. That has also to do with China's new moon going up in 2020. It has to do with an energy grid which they've put up in low Earth orbit, because millions of people think rockets are going up to space when they've been going up to low Earth orbit. So these millionaires, particularly Elon Musk, has deceived you massively. And if you believe you're a hologram today, well, you've been deceived, alright, massively. Because they've used the truth and lies for centuries, and today they use nothing but almost truth, which is why it's so hard for so many to see that they're lying about everything still. They still do the same signs and symbols. They still wear the colours of Freemasonry. They're still the ones of part of the elite. Stop trusting these people. They've built massive machines to literally fucking lower the vibrational frequencies of the earth and to let demons in. And, well, if you research what ghosts are, They're the souls of the dead. And so the souls of the dead that were in Pandora's box are now out. And, well, they can merge with technologies. They can use technologies. The Venom movie, demonic possession and a human being in one. Special powers, absolutely. It's not a joke at all. So who are we gonna call? Bloody Ghostbusters. Guess what? Ghostbusters new movies coming out. I guarantee there's gonna be so much in that, and yet people just will look and go, it's not real, is it though? I'm not gonna get round to reading this article, doing it right. Sorry, I've skipped a little bit. So the attention of Musk and Zuckerberg means the potential for giant leaps forward. But the question no one seems to be asking is whether our dependence on machines and technology has finally gone too far. Countries annually celebrate their independence from other countries, but it now seems we should start asking deeper questions about our personal independence. 60 Minutes recently ran a piece showing how engineers are using what scientists have learned about the brain to manipulate us into staying perpetually addicted to our smartphones. Dopamine hit after dopamine hit, literally killing you. You're severing your ties also because you're hurting your neck and you're putting your neck down, and there's important blood flow that goes to your pineal gland, and literally if you're using your phone all the time, you literally can sever it, and you're going to cause yourself massive neck problems. Honestly, like, look it up. I'm doing it right now. I should be holding my phone up like this. You can't see it, rather than looking down at the table at it. So the anxiety that most of us feel when we are away from our phones is real. During the 60 Minutes piece, researchers at California State University, Dominguez Hills, connected electrodes to reporters Anderson Cooper's fingers to measure changes in her heart rate and perspiration. Then they sent text messages to his phone, which was out of his reach, and watched his anxiety spike with each notification. Torture. The segment revealed that virtually every app on your phone is calibrated to keep you using it as often and as long as possible. And you don't think, I'm just as affected by this as well? Of course. The show made an important point. A relatively small number of Silicon Valley engineers are experimenting with and changing in a significant way human behavior and brain function. So Facebook, what have I just posted about it changing people, did change human behavior and the way you think. And they're doing it with little insight into the long-term consequences. The long-term consequences of ignorance is androgyny and being obliterated by the gods for going against everything that is to do with creation because you didn't see that you've been deceived about creation. It seems the fight for independence has gone digital because these clowns work for higher forces and they are just puppets. While smartphone dependency and its effects on the brain is in itself a cause for concern, it's merely the next logical step in computing, and that logic is becoming increasingly worrisome. Well, worrisome. Ethics and morality have gone out the window, and it went a long time ago, and this has been a plan for a long time. We're standing on the precipice of major developments in what scientists call brain-computer interfaces, BCI, sometimes called brain-machine interfaces or BMIs. BCIs are electronic microchips that are embedded into the brain to literally connect our minds to computers, basically brain chips. Before you dismiss it as out of hand, consider two things. First, computers have been creeping closer to our brain since their creation, so our brain is a computer, a great one at that, and we all work together as one on this massive puzzle piece, and so many people just don't want to look at the rest of what is to see and to know. They just ignore it, like the academics. What's stated as large mainframes became desktops, then laptops, and now tablets and smartphones that will be hold only inches from our faces. The reason why they say that is because it gives off magnetic radiation, and that causes brain problems. Literally, it says in the clause you shouldn't even hold it to your ear. And secondly, brain-computer interfaces already exist and have for almost 20 years, because in those experiments they've been controlling bugs. They've stuck electrodes in bugs and controlled them. The military, in terms of applications, are well ahead of the commercial sector, and the commercial sector is a front for the military. Keep up. I watched on the sidelines during the development of one of the earliest versions in the late 1990s, when it was only a handful of professors at Brown University. I was a graduate student studying the brain, but even with that background, I had trouble believing brain chips could be anything but science fiction. 20 years on, he's going, well, actually, they're pretty much on the way, mainstream. We've recently learned that less than the likes of both Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are deeply involved in developing BCIs, because they want to literally hive mind humanity. Imagine using Facebook without typing, or driving a Tesla with only your mind. Imagine literally having no free will and being stupid enough to take the technologies being developed by evil military corporations that have lied to you your whole entire lives about creation, while they use it to destroy everything that's created, which includes you. Or also imagine Elon Musk, building a particle accelerator 3 times the size of CERN to literally destroy the Earth, which is their black hole project. Hello, people, wake up. Zuckerberg hasn't revealed many details yet, but he has said that he envisions a platform that lets you communicate using only your mind. It's great to have these applications, right? If it was used and developed by good people. These people are wicked. They are wicked spirits in high places. They are the part of the ruling class and the elite, and they've lied to you. We know that about a year ago, Zuckerberg's just a front for another CIA application, just like if you play bloody in Reading, and around probably England, Pokemon Go on your phone. People, man. Hired Regina Duggan, former director of the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, another one, DARPA, watch out for them, to run his company Experimental Technologies Division, known as Building 8. The division now has 60 full-time scientists and engineers and hundreds of millions of funding. Where's that coming from? The government. That's a big commitment of resources that could produce rapid advancements in technology. Because they're giving it to him. He's just a front for the military application within the commercial sector. Elon Musk's vision goes beyond Zuckerberg's, or at least beyond what Zuckerberg has said publicly. I'm gonna get into other millionaires later. Bill Gates, George Soros, fucking Amazon toss piece. While Zuckerberg has described external brain sensors that would allow you to type 100 words per minute with your mind, lazy buggers, like you can't type 100 words per minute with your hands, Musk wants you to merge brains and computers much more deeply for a brain chip that both sends and receives information. Yeah, it's called the Nano Smart Dust chip, and it's been developed and it's in our brains already. The possibility of brain-computer interfaces are both exciting and frightening. Absolutely. The ability to communicate with others via thought, for example, is exciting, but giving others the ability to read your minds is frightening. Right. We, through our own natural abilities for the pineal gland, have the capability of doing both of those things naturally. But as they are emulating everything to do with creation, which has to do with us ourselves and our own capabilities, you must know that that has to do with spiritual abilities. And if you're not spiritually awakened in these days, when and that's the best you go wake up, because you needed in this world as a spirit to literally end 300 years of tyranny, or you're gonna die anyway, a horrible death. So, because they want to control, these cunts want to control your mind with microchips. Controlling a light switch or driving a car with one's mind is exciting. The potential of others controlling your mind is frightening. It might be cool to have a perfect memory, but it would be terrifying if your memory could be hacked. Right, memory. Memory is not stored essentially in the brain, it's stored in the cloud, which is the Akashic record, which is part of where all knowledge is stored, and how we ourselves can actually access all knowledge if we actually get to the Ascension stage. But they want you to put a chip in your head to access the internet so that you yourself can actually access all information and be God-like. Am I getting there? Emulation is everything they are of this world, but their own way. So leveraging artificial intelligence to make us smarter would be great. Creating artificial intelligence that could grow much smarter and more powerful than us is the stuff of nightmares, particularly if it's designed and, planned to control humanity. That last fear has raised heavy eyebrows from Stephen Hawking to Bill. Oh yeah, because these people are so worried. Liar, Stephen Hawking, liar. Bill Gates, liar, and Elon Musk, liar. Yet Musk has entered the AI race perhaps without fully realizing it. Brain-computer interfaces will inevitably bring us closer to artificial intelligence. Because you are artificial intelligence. Please, I've been saying it. Listen, Musk argues that for us to compete with AI, which we all do collectively, we need to have some of our own machine's intelligence. But has he fully considered the cost? The cost of humanity? What few understand is that the path to AI is through creating artificial brains, not artificial intelligence. The machine intelligence we create will be real. We are already in process of digitally mapping the human brain. We already have, because of Obama's brain project. Fully charting the map will require data, which will ultimately come from recording the brain through brain chips. Do you hear that? So they're going to record your brain through brain chips, which is nano smart dust embedded into your brain, which can send signals and receive data. To understand the significance of brain chips, it would behove us to take a quick look at where we started. I am a chairman of BrainGate Incorporated, the company that holds many of the relevant patents on brain-computer interfaces. I work for the United States military and the CIA. I work for corrupt organizations and the Catholic Church's secret societies that have implemented this plan for centuries. I first encountered BrainGate in 1998 as a graduate student at Brown University. A handful of neuroscientists under the leadership of Professor John Donoghue had invented technology that could connect a computer chip to the human mind, allowing it to act as a remote control to other devices. It was a clunky system, required brain surgery and wires connecting to your skull, as we've discussed before. They called it BrainGate. The possibilities were unbelievably exciting, and the Brown team set out to turn BrainGate into a business, because the whole world's a business. They raised a pile of money, pushed the science and technology further, and eventually took the company public under the auspicious name of Cyberkinetics. Why auspicious? Fast forward a decade and cybernetics continued to show promise, but no profits. BrainGate had entered pre-clinical trials, proven viability with human patients, and showed real signs of potential success. Yeah, I showed you the article. It was implanted in that lady, and she lifted the cup. Lifted her arm pretending it was a cup of tea. By 2008, BrainGate patent. I can show you other things about military using this stuff that can fly helicopters and all sorts of things, but it's too much. BrainGate patient controlling a wheelchair with her mind was featured on 60 Minutes, but it was clear that commercialization was still far off. Early that year, I approached cybernetics. See, this is how they approach these subjects, through the benefits of these technologies, yes, people do get them, but then you have to pay, and everyone else seems to shun away from all the other warnings that even this article is going, yeah, but there's a scary side to it. Yeah, but there's a scary side to it. Yeah, but it could potentially be used for bad people for bad reasons. Yeah, but we're going to commercialize it and you're going to love it. You're going to see the benefits of it. It's going to help millions of people, and we're going to save the world with technologies. I'm going to show you a picture later, hopefully. A billboard outside earlier that year with BT. Technology's going to save us. Earlier that year, I approached cybernetics about buying BrainGate personally. Having just sold web I had the means to buy the BrainGate business, and we came to an agreement. My team took the company private again with the belief that BrainGate held great technological promise and could do great things for society. So now this technology is in private hands. Do you see where it went? You know, it's gone. The private things can get away with a lot more of stuff than you realise. BrainGate has always spent far more money than it brought in. After all, a product that requires brain surgery has extremely limited commercial viability. Like everyone else at the time, we thought of BrainGate as a purely positive, a tool to help the physically disabled walk, talk, use their hands and control wheelchairs, cars and computers. We can all do that without the chips inside us, with technologies already that's been developed. It was cutting-edge technology that allowed paralysed people to live more normal lives. It was a noble pursuit with no real downside, or so we thought. Now, a lot of people don't realise is a lot of the causes to our problems too is the people in charge that have caused these problems, because they've contaminated the water, they've poisoned us with vaccines, they've poisoned us, they have created... If I said to you, for example, certain things like putting in the FTO2 gene into people, which is the obesity gene, and that it doesn't necessarily give you obesity, but it makes you more likely to get obesity if you've got this gene, and that when you inject things can take it's instantaneous, as in certain experiments to do with color blindness in monkeys. You're kind of going to get the point where things can change very rapidly if they've been injecting us with certain things with certain time periods, and it's very easy to change people. It is literally inject them with the right on and off switch and you've got it. That's how simple it is. But people don't want to believe that either. So I spent most of my career in engineering and business, despite having received my academic degree studying the brain across science and philosophy. None of these disciplines speak the same language, nor do they overlap in their goals. This is largely a good thing, as each field serves as a sort of check and balance as new ideas come to light. Scientists determine whether something is possible. Philosophers ask and answer questions such as, should we do this? Engineers focus on the nuts and bolts of how to make those things that are possible and desirable into reality. Engineers are not scientists or philosophers, so it always concerns me when they get involved in things too early. The most extreme examples have devastating consequences. The most egregious that comes to mind is Thomas Midgley, the engineer who created toxic lead gasoline for General Motors. If the company had been science focused, they would have been more inclined to examine the risks before engineering a solution. You see, there's the problem. These people for business do not give a fuck about those engineering any risk solutions before they put their product out. Otherwise, the plastic industry wouldn't exist either. The oil industry wouldn't exist. Hence why the world is a business, and they are implementing their solutions because they created all the bloody problems to begin with, and a lot of people are going to fall for it, and it's a trap. Before engineering a solution that caused hallucinogenics and death, of course. Absurd as it seems, Midgley moved on from poison fuel to the frigorary division of General Motors and created chlorofluorocarbons, those pesky chemicals that went into hairspray and destroyed the ozone. Oh my god, we can talk about that as well. No, never day. Again, science would have thought that's just another agenda, fake bullshit science. Again, science would have thought beyond engineering, and any philosophy or ethics would have warned against something likely to do more harm than good. They're the ones that do harm in the name of good. There was a reason the Manhattan Project was led by scientists and not engineers. The risks were so severe that it was imperative that was engineered, was capable of doing exactly, and only, like this guy's just talking bullshit, it was engineering and science at the same time that built the fucking atom bomb. Many philosophers were against developing the atom bomb, concerned that the short-term benefits ending the war would not outweigh the long-term consequences, ending the war. But then the Allies learned that Germany was attempting to develop its own bomb, and that was the end of what should we discussion. No, it's not the end of the discussion, is it? Let's talk about the Nazis and how they ended up in America, shall we? Another video. We sure as hell had to do it before they did, and how advanced the Nazis were, really, in terms of technologies. You'd be very surprised. Beating the Germans before they beat us in one thing, adding profit into science is a whole other thing. In business, profit is often reason enough to throw "should we" out of the window. Where Jurassic Park is fiction, yeah, it is bloody fiction. So with dinosaurs. Is there anyone among us who honestly believes that some entrepreneur would not recreate dinosaurs if it were possible? Giant birds did once walk the earth. In the movie Mathematician, the chaos theory specialist Ian Malcolm is the voice of reason. He gives creator John Hammond an ethics lecture. You stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as you could, and before you even knew what you had, you patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you're selling it. In one of the most memorable and prescient scenes of the movie, Dr. Malcolm correctly points out that Hammond's team was so preoccupied with whether or not they didn't stop to think they should. For many of these reasons, we moved BrainGate back to the domain of academics until we had answers to questions that cannot be resolved by executives or engineers. Who pays for the academic? It's a corrupt corporation of lies. The government pays for the education system. It's military run, so it's all done by the military. The corporate is the military section. It's just dribbled out what they want. Our team delayed the business venture and then used these businessmen as fronts, as truth. What a load of shit. Allowed academics to continue to use our patented innovations to determine whether we should build BrainGate. But with Musk, Zuckerberg and other engineers attempting to, they're not calling them engineers now, to move forward. No, they're just faces of companies. There is now a critical void of deliberation and acute risk of doing the wrong thing. Too late for that. It's been going on for a long time. That's why I've been trying to morally wake you all up and go, we don't actually live in a good time, do we? These Templars, these Freemasons running the show have lied to the whole world while killing pretty much anything in their way while doing it. We're on the verge of connecting the human mind to machines, and it seems the engineers are leading to the charge, figuring out techniques to make it happen. But brain chips have not yet been properly vetted. Where are the philosophers and scientists? Even the uninitiated should be able to see the dire consequences of not asking some hard questions before building something like BrainGate for the masses. So he's even asking people that are initiated there. Surely this isn't right. Philosophers and ethics, could you please tell us what the risks are to humanity? I'll tell you the risks. As someone who knows, you are going to be transhumanized, and you will lose your free will to think for yourself, and you will be used as a weapon against the living, and you will become a plague upon the earth. Would a brain chip make us something other than human? And do the benefits of becoming non-human outweigh the risk? Yes, it does, when you lose control of what is to be human in the first place, which is what you are to begin with. Excuse me. What is the cost of allowing direct access into our brains? Could this type of access be used by governments, militaries, or deviants to make us do things that we would not have done otherwise? Well, considering up to now, most brainwashed people that probably have not even got this far in this article, yeah, is the answer. You're already doing the things that you shouldn't really want to be doing, because you work for corrupt organizations that have lied to you about every core principle to do with your existence. And today the truth is so close that if you don't go back in time and see that you've been lied to about every core principle, you're going to continually believe people like Elon Musk, that he's going to save the world. Bill Gates is going to block out the sun, stop global warming. Oh my word. The things I could say about these people. Could this whole enterprise accelerate artificial intelligence in such a way that threatens humanity? How many have heard Sophia, the artificial intelligent robot? Where did it get first citizenship? Saudi Arabia? That should make you ask questions. Scientists, is this technology possible without physical or mental consequence? Do we know how, or spiritual consequence? Look, they didn't add spiritual consequence in there. It is a spiritual consequence. You will lose your soul, your energy, and you cannot be destroyed, only transferred. And that is essentially what they want to do. They want to transfer your soul to a nether network while literally controlling you. So do we know how wet brains will react long term to hardware implants? Wow, since we've already got smart dust in our heads, I think that it's absolutely... So, we've already got other things in our head too that's affecting us. I think it will show in the future what it really will do. Will the efficiency decay over time? Can our biology handle the speed at which computers interact? If Anderson Cooper's cortisol levels spiked in response to his smartphone's text notifications, what would be the effect of notification going straight into his brain? Beyond physical consequences, what would happen to our understanding of selfhood? Our proprioception of our cognitive maps. So they will send you Delali, they will send you mad, they'll put you primitive. They'll turn off all your thought processes to the point where they'll literally be putting thoughts into your mind and getting you to do things that they want you to do, and essentially, yeah, you'll be done. You're done for. I don't know how long this is going to take, but they're rolling it out. The dedicated resources of the likes of Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg will make a difference. Sure, they will. I have no doubt that a convergence of the world's best engineers' minds can overcome the challenges that have plagued brain-computer interfaces. It could take another decade, or it could take far less time. Just a few small breakthroughs, a high-capacity chip, a more effective sensor, a less invasive implantation technique, combined with engineers smart enough to connect the dots, could yield results much faster than we expect. Yeah, I've connected the dots, alright, so it's loads of other people. The danger, of course, is that we may find out that we can, long before we have carefully considered whether we should. As it stands now, we are literally giving up our minds to a group of engineers with any consideration of the consequences. You may not believe it from this writing, but I am a technology optimist. I deeply believe that technology usually delivers progress, only when it's being directed the way they want it to. I am also a capitalist and would not mind seeing BrainGate worth trillions of dollars. Capitalist, right? Says it all. But more importantly, he is not a human being, and he shouldn't really have many friends, and his family should shun him, because he's a diabolical person that's in a way supporting the end of humanity, and others I care deeply about. Yeah, right, you should be concerned about them. Anyway, I would never place them in harm's way for the sake of profit, of course not, or technological curiosity, of course not. For our part, BrainGate will keep itself out of the headlines and leave its patents, data and intellectual property where it belongs. Too late. In the ivory tower of academia until we know it's safe. What a load of shit. Personally, I'm not smart enough to answer many of the questions I have raised. I'm trying. I can merely ask. I hope that we find answers before we build something that could be far worse, that leads gas, leaded gas, chlorofluorocarbons, or dinosaur park, or even an atom bomb. Sorry, Jeff Stibbo. Anyway, that's that article. It's already done. Nothing new under the sun. It's happened in the past. The Greys were technologically transhumanized, let's call it, by the reptilian species, and today there's still species that have free will and don't have free will, and this relates to abduction cases, etc., and the knowledge comes from that. Too much information, I've spoken too much already. Please, if you make it this far, thank you very much. Please share, like and subscribe.